You see this building here? This is a jail. Inside there are some prisoners, and outside there are some citizens who are not in jail. So why are there people inside and people outside? What is the cause? So the people that are inside have broken the law, and the law is established by the state. So we have got free will. The fact that we are placed within this material world is not because of Krishna. It's not Krishna's fault. Otherwise, why does he come and try to help? It's not that he wants us to come here. He doesn't want. A father will never want his child to go through suffering. But the child has got independence. He's also a separate living entity. He can accept the order of the father or he can reject. Just like in my personal life, I stopped communicating with my father one time for almost 3 years. So my father never stopped wishing all the best for me. I'm sure he continued praying to Krishna for my well-being and my spiritual advancement. So it happens sometimes. So those people in jail, they knew the law. It's not that they did not know, you see. So similarly, the spirit soul is called Chaitanya, which means that he has got knowledge. In the spiritual world, we are Satchidananda. So this Chit is fully realized, full knowledge. So we know perfectly what is the position of the material world. We know perfectly that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer and that we are his eternal servants. We know this. Yet, somehow or other, we came here to put the fault on the Lord, that why is the Lord allowing us to come here? Why is he giving us individuality if he knows we can misuse it? All these are mental speculation. There's no question of why does he give us. The living entity is eternal. Eternal. And the Lord is also eternal. We are always separate from the Lord. And at the same time, we are not separate from him. Achintya Beda Beda Tadva. Because we are part and parcel of him. So we are individuals in ourselves. But at the same time, we cannot exist independent of him. Just like, for example, this wind I'm breathing, who created that? That is his energy. Without the sun, this entire universe cannot manifest. We die. Without water, I cannot drink. Without those senses, this body, which was not created by my mother, which is created by the Lord's energy, I cannot exist.
The Supreme Lord is eternal, and the living beings are eternal. The Supreme Lord is cognizant, and the living beings are cognizant. The difference is that the Supreme Lord is supplying all the necessities of life for the many other living entities.
So the free will lies in the desire. That is where the free will lies. Do we want to work for the satisfaction of the Lord, or we want to work for our own sense pleasure, so-called pleasure? So that is inconceivable. We are eternal, and the Lord is also eternal.
Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be.
Yet he is our source. How can you comprehend this? When we speak of a cause, we speak of a time, a certain specific time, right? This happened, then that happened. So it's kind of in a timeline. Yet we are eternal. It never happened. So yes, he created us, but at the same time, he did not create us. So we cannot comprehend that because our very existence has a beginning and an end. This very body is born and it will die. So the Lord is trying to save us. And to say that, no, it's his fault, this is Mayavad, this is actually impersonalism, because you are rejecting the fact that you are so a separate entity from the Lord. To say that it's the fault of Krishna means that ultimately you have no independence. You are not a living being, you are not a person. It's Krishna who decides everything for you. That is not a fact. That is impersonalism. Krishna controls absolutely everything except your desire. You want him or you want Maya. That he does not touch. If you do not have the choice to choose left or right, then you are a dead stone. Just like these bricks here, they cannot move. There's no consciousness. As soon as you say conscious, you must have awareness, you must have knowledge. And again, there's no question of love if there is no question of not to love. In order to love someone, there must be the option of not loving that person. For example, I might say, okay, I love my wife, but there are so many women everywhere in the street. So there is duality. I love my wife, but I don't love all women. So therefore it is special, because there's the choice of loving and not to love. This loving relationship with the Lord can only exist if we can choose not to accept it. But again, on the other hand, what is this choice? What is this free will? Because there is a standard, there is a reality. And that reality is that we are eternal part and parcel of Him. We're supposed to serve Him.
It is the living entity's constitutional position to be an eternal servant of Krishna, because he is the marginal energy of Krishna and a manifestation simultaneously one and different from the Lord, like a molecular particle of sunshine or fire.
So if we go away from that reality, what kind of choice is that? Just like if I offer you, here's a very nice, beautiful cake, you can eat that, or you can eat broken pieces of glass. What kind of free will is this? Who will choose the broken pieces of glass? Only a madman. So similarly, in this material world, we're chewing broken pieces of glass and we're thinking that we're eating a nice cake. So that is complete delusion. So the Lord comes and He's trying to save us from this folly. So just like now, I'm on my way to the hospital because I've got this thing on my finger. This is annoying me, right? So I'm going to go to the hospital and give some money to get rid of that thing. So I'm gonna pay money to make my finger better. But if that finger was cut off, if that finger was lying there in the street, would anyone come and pick up the finger and then bring it to the hospital, to the doctor, and say, please, can you remove that thing from the finger? No, because it has no value. Similarly, and that is the hard part to accept in the philosophy because of our false ego, similarly, living entities that are in the material world are useless to the Lord. That can sound very strict, but it's a fact. We are energies of the Lord, therefore we are meant for His enjoyment. But that service and that enjoyment has absolutely nothing to do with the mundane experience that we have here. For example, that lady, she's serving, right? She's serving. Is this very nice? Do you think that anybody would do it out of free will, out of love? I love my city so much. Let me sweep the sidewalk for 8 hours a day. Would anybody do this? It is not possible. Impossible. And plus, here, this world is filled with suffering. Just look at this. You see this? This is blood. And there's like this tissue full of blood. So someone was bleeding so much here. So this is the type of service. Maybe he was rendering service to his boss and he was working and some accident happened, he cut off his arm. So this kind of service, actually it's not service, it's simply suffering. It's a struggle for existence. We're simply trying to exist. Actually, what we want is very simple. We just want to be happy. That's all. Why is it such a struggle, right? Because we're not supposed to be here.
From the highest planet in this material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again.
A fish who's trying to be happy outside water will simply struggle and he won't understand that why is it so hard. Well, you just go back inside water and you'll feel normal, you'll feel comfortable. So the service in this material world is actually not even service. We're serving our own senses. Just like that sweeper back there. She's doing this. She might appear to be a servant of the state to clean up the street, but actually what she wants is money. She wants money for what? To gratify her senses. I'm gonna buy some nice clothes for my grandchildren and I'm gonna feel satisfied, having a sense of being a good grandmother. So of course, it's not that we are criticizing a grandmother buying clothes for the grandchildren. The point is that ultimately it comes down to me. What I want, what satisfies me. There are billions of granddaughters and grandsons. Why not buy clothes for them? No, because they're not related to this material body. So ultimately it comes down to me. So it is focused selfishness. Let me buy some food for my tongue, this for me, some clothes for me, or extended selfishness. Let me buy this for my family and so on and so forth. The souls within this material world, the living entity within this material world are useless for the service of the Lord. And serving the Lord means immediately we feel pleasure also. Just like you pour water, if you pour water to each and single leaves of that tree, you're wasting time. The tree is not going to get any benefit, nor are the leaves. But if you pour water to the roots, immediately the whole tree becomes beautiful, green and fluffy, and every leaves attached to the tree feel that. Okay, so similarly, if you're linked to the Lord and you try to please Him, everybody that is linked to the Lord will feel that nice and energy and flush. But if you separate yourself from the Lord and you're a dry leaf like this, even though you pour water on the tree, you remain dry. So this is what's happening. We are worshiping the Lord. All the devotees are feeling happy, transcendental bliss in the temple. But those who are dry, those who are outside, they are not feeling any joy when we worship the Lord, because they're not connected. So because they try to satisfy their own senses, they have dislocated themselves from the eternal service of the Lord, and therefore they are useless. Their service to their own body will perish. It is just like phantasmagoria. It is a dream. Just like you're trying to gather some money in a dream. As soon as you wake up, ultimately, what is this endeavor was for? It's completely useless.
Association of children, wife, relatives, and friends is just like the brief meeting of travelers. With each change of body, one is separated from all such associates, just as one loses the objects one possesses in a dream when the dream is over.
When you serve the Lord, He becomes pleased, and similarly all other devotees become pleased. Anandam buddhi vardhanam. The ocean of transcendental bliss expands. So we should try to expand that ocean of transcendental bliss by joining the Sankirtana movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be willing to pay so much just to cure us from the material disease. He will do so much endeavor just to save us from this material world. But if we are a cut off finger on the sidewalk, we don't want to know anything about Krishna, then why would He try to help us? We have not this desire. But He is so merciful that even though we don't want Him, we are envious of Him, we deny Him, we say God is dead, we don't care for Him. Even though these people, they speak like that, still the Lord is giving wonderful fruits, milk, grains, cotton, everything He's providing for them, even though they don't care for Him. Because what? He is our eternal loving Father. So we have stated that this world is false. It is not real. So this has to be understood properly. It's not that it is false, actually. There was some European philosophers many hundreds of years back. I do not know who exactly. I just remember the conversation. So they were arguing, philosophical debate based on arguments and logic. So one was saying that this world is unreal. And the other philosopher, he said, I'm refuting your theory, and he kicked a stone very hard. So that is also very intelligent, because you are saying it is false, but I am feeling this pain. So this pain for me, it is real. I'm feeling it. So how to understand? The example now in modern days, for example, a lot of young people, they play video games, right? So some of the video games, sometimes it's a role playing. That means they have a character and they play with this character over the years, and the character becomes maybe better and you can buy more things, you know. And many of those games are payable. That means you must use your money to get, you know, better goods and etc. So some of these games people have been playing for, you know, years, 10, 20 years, so long, and they've been putting so much money in it. But it is false. We know it is a game. This money, whatever you get in the game, you cannot get it here in this world, right? So what if all of a sudden that person's account got deleted? All the endeavor that he has put into those 20 years of playing, and maybe he has put, you know, thousands of dollars into that. What if I delete that all of a sudden? That person would go completely insane. He would feel great pain to have lost so much. Us who are outside the game, we think that, what is this man? Why is he suffering so much? It's just a game. But for him, it is, because his consciousness was so much absorbed into the game. His consciousness was within. He entered the game. So because he's so much attached to the game, his consciousness was so much locked within. When something happens to the game, it affects him. Similarly, because our consciousness is so much absorbed within this material body and all objects related to this body, this is me, this body, and this phone is mine, and the school bag is mine, and my wife is mine, and my kids are mine. So in this way we become absorbed within this matrix, which is actually temporary. Everything is always changing. This body is like a bubble. It will burst at one point. I will die. I will have to let it go. Still, because we're so much absorbed into it, our consciousness is so much absorbed into it, and we try to suck the sense gratification as much as we can using the material senses. We're so much attached to it that when something happens to it, we suffer. So that's the proper understanding. It is false, actually. But the living entity who suffers, he is real. And actually this material world, the energy itself is not false, because it comes from the Lord. So whatever comes from the Lord cannot be false, because God is real, therefore his energy is real. What is false is the way that the energy is being used. The energy is not being used in the service of the Lord as it should be. Instead, everybody is claiming, I'm the Lord of all our survey. I am the most powerful, I'm the most beautiful, I'm the most knowledgeable, And in this way, people are under illusions.
O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness.
So that is the illusion. The illusion is to think that we are independent. Just like I'm walking in the street, I'm thinking, I'm independent, I'm born, I've got this life, I can do whatever I want. No, you cannot. You are under strict laws of material nature. If you eat more than required, you get an indigestion. If you don't sleep enough, you fall sick. If you have too much sex, maybe you will get sick, tuberculosis. If you eat too much, you will get diabetes. So in this way, you're so much controlled. Plus, time is crunching upon us. We're becoming older. We don't want to become old. We are. We will have to die. We don't want to die. We will. We might say that, okay, you know what? Having sex with women is disgusting. I'm tired of it. I'm going to stop it. No, you cannot, because lust is within your heart. It's here. It's going to be pushing you to go and try again to have illicit sex with women. So in this way, we are completely under the control of the three modes of material nature. There's no question of independence. So that thinking of being independent is wrong. This is illusion, and that is called Maya.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.